He's connected to 4K camera.
There you go. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks. Turn on the
Yeah.
lights here. Shut the door.
So Mark,
There we go.
Gordon's got about 30 minutes with us, and then he's got to go do another podcast. So
All right,
I
let's
thought,
jump into it.
yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Gordon, we're talking about candida. We're talking about bad bacteria. We're obviously talking about yeasts. We're talking the men and women, and we're talking the constant spreading back and forth of these yeast infections, even if one partner doesn't have a yeast infection, an active yeast infection. Now, we have structured water and we have silver. What I'm looking for specifically, I can write a 15-second piece, I could write a 2-hour webinar, as long as I understand the mechanisms, how they work for me. Yes.
Gel is my first choice. We have liquid that we can swallow that works from the inside out. We have gel that works, put it on your hands and apply it to the genital organ. Here's how it works. Silver destroys bacteria, viruses, and yeast. It destroys the yeast infection because the silver has the ability to destroy the membrane of the yeast, so the membrane becomes amoeba-like and just turns
The
into
biofilm.
a gel. Now, the way it does that is silver transfers energy better than any other mineral. And it transfers energy in this way. Silver, by nature, is missing one electron in its outer shell. And that means it's going to steal an electron from anything it comes in contact with. Since yeast, bacteria, and viruses only have a single wall around them, when silver steals an electron, they open up and rupture. Silver steals an electron to destroy germs. Silver, in structured form, has the ability, once it draws an electron away, now it recharges its overall structure and fires one back. So it steals and fires like a machine gun, while the inferior forms of silver only steal an electron, become neutral, and that's it. Structuring the silver penetrates through the biofilms to get access in the vagina to the areas that need it most. Silver, in a structured alkaline form, drinking the alkaline liquid works with the alkalinity of the body, while we're wisely making silver gel at the same pH the skin and the vagina like, which is slightly acidic. So these are designed specifically for the vagina, for the skin, slightly acidic. Inside the body likes alkalinity, and we give it this form. In bacteria, silver only has to come in contact with the bacteria for 2 minutes to destroy or rupture that membrane of the bacteria. Yeast, silver has to come in contact with the yeast and stay in contact for 2 minutes in order to stop yeast from replicating, stop yeast from secreting the poison that dissolves the internal linings of the intestine or vagina, then eating it again and making a biofilm around itself. Silver binds with the virus so that the virus will attach to this high energy silver that transfers energy better than anything else. The virus wants that high energy because viruses cannot infect you unless they attach to a healthy cell first, inject their DNA, causing the damage from inside the cell. Silver becomes the energy that the virus wants to attach to. Now 12 hours later, you've urinated out the virus. You've urinated out all the particles of broken down bacteria and broken down yeast. That's a general overview. What else can I give you?
So, okay, so a couple of things. First of all, the breaking down of the membrane of the candida versus breaking down of the biofilm. Create that distinction for me.
Yeast, imagine my hands are a single yeast. It's like an amoeba shape, and it molds around, it attaches to something, secretes a poison, then eats the slurry, including the tissue, back. When it consumes the tissue, it now has enough protein to build a membrane around itself, and it's snot-like. Yeah, I said snot. It's a biofilm, and the biofilm carries all the individual particles of yeast in it, and as a group now, they have more protection from antibiotics, from immune cells, from anything else.
And so the structured water is what breaks down that specific biofilm, or the silver?
The structure of the water has been documented in scientific studies to help break down the biofilm. The silver breaks down the membrane of the yeast and bacteria.
By getting its electron.
Correct. Stealing an electron, firing an electron.
So it's like pulling the plug.
Popping a water balloon.
Women's vaginas need a certain amount of acidity, mostly alkaline, but a certain amount of acidity. What about male genitals?
Male genitals need just a touch of acidity, and the reason is very simple. It is skin, and skin carries just a touch of acidity.
So if I'm a man and I see redness, lesion-like things, can I put the gel on my genitals?
Absolutely. It's the perfect choice for any redness, for any rash, for any blister. Silver gel, reach for it. Doesn't matter if you know if it's a bacteria, a virus, or a yeast, it's still the right choice.
In terms of how, just a quick breakdown from your perspective about how we have landed in the situation where yeast infections, candida and yeast infections, have not just become predominant, but almost the norm.
Three things. Number one, we've taken too many antibiotics at too young of an age and created our microbiome to be filled with yeast, because antibiotics kill all the bacteria. The yeast have an unopposed way to repopulate the gut.
Yep.
Number two, hot drinks. When people drink hot coffee, it comes in, it destroys the good bacteria. The yeast and bad bacteria now have an environment that's acidic.
Is that any hot drink?
That means coffee, that means tea, that means hot drinks.
No way. No idea. Just learned that right now from you.
That's a new one, yes. And then the third one is what we get from foods. And this might be a tiny part of the cause, but when we get food into our gut that we're allergic to, we have an immune response that's mobilized and tries to isolate it, and now you've got inflammation in specific areas of foods that you're allergic to. Those are my three ways.
Brilliant. You've just about built this thing on your own. What do you need me for?
Heck no, I need you to put the ribbon and the package on it. Alone, I'm a mere brown package. You need to get that shiny paper and the ribbon and making this stuff look good.
What, from your, one more question for you, from your perspective, just from the story I'm telling, the devastation, whether I'm a woman or a man, which the stories are going to be slightly different, what from your perspective are those stories? What am I going through?
A woman is going through a number of different things. Number one, what am I experiencing? And she's going to pay attention to the pain in her vagina, the itching and the scratching, what kind of periods that she's going through, what color is her discharge, and that is enough for a month or two to finally get your head around, oh my gosh, this is me. Number two is, where did it come from? And why do I have it? And some of that goes to blaming the psychology of blame goes on herself and on her sex partner. Did I get this from my male sex partner? And if so, there's a little bit of pushback and a little bit of guarding that goes on,
Yep.
and it becomes influential in the intimacy of the couple.
Yep.
So the woman who knows why she's getting it, what she can do about it, meaning silver gel, and how she can use it on her male counterpart, gives her a freedom and emancipation to be sexually active again, rather than holding back and controlling everything that she can see, even though she doesn't understand it all. She only needs to understand a couple of things. Yeast causes problems. Bacteria is the itchy scratchiness on the outside of the vagina. Yeast is what's inside that causes long-term problems, the pain, the suffering, the burning, the itching. Then when you realize that the man can be transferring as much yeast to the woman as the woman carries, why should the woman have to do all the work to keep this yeast under control when the man has folds in his penis that are warm and moist, carrying yeast as well? He just pops it out, has a good time, and the woman carries all the burden of health and wellness. No, now we have an opportunity for the woman to pump one or two pumps of the silver gel on her hand, take this problem in hand, and with a few strokes, she now has security that what's coming into her is going to be a treatment rather than a punishment.
What about from the male perspective?
That was pretty good, wasn't it? I should do that.
That was bro. Oh, this is recording, dude. This is recording.
Can I add a couple points in here?
Yeah, go for it, Doug.
Mark, I would recommend joining as many of the Candida Facebook groups as possible, because there's a lot of narrative happening in those Facebook groups of the
Oh
women.
yeah, I always look in groups. I also look at a lot of Amazon products. There's great stories people tell in their testimonials. Good and bad.
They're writing the narrative for you in there of how they're feeling, the whole thing. The other
we'll get the dog whistle language. I was just from his perspective, and everything that came out was gold.
The other thing too is I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of customers that suffer from this, taking customer service calls. And we don't just want to focus on the genitalia area, but the gut and
we're
system.
gonna do big picture. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just getting
because a lot of the times
I can fill in the framing. I need the specifics.
Okay.
That's all I need from him. The rest we got.
Okay, I'll shut up and mute and let you guys talk.
Well, and a one-sentence summary is this easy. If you're taking antibiotics for the next 2 weeks, get another doctor's appointment, because the week after you stop antibiotics, you're going to need help with the yeast that's overgrowing. And that includes your intestines as well as your vagina.
Absolutely. So and all, the first brain, second brain, vagus nerve, neurotransmission, all of those things we're going to cover as well. I have studies and studies and studies to back all that stuff up. Just one more question then. The bacteria you talked, so the yeast on the inside can bacteria on the outside. What about for the men? The yeast hides in the folds, and what about the bad bacteria? How does the bad bacteria on the man's genitalia play into the yeast infection?
Bacteria likes sugar. So does yeast. But yeast seems to find warm, moist areas and eats the folds in the warm, moist areas of the skin. You get that soft, cheesy substance. Bacteria will eat flesh directly. Bacteria will like to be in the hair, in the pubic hair, in the moist surface areas, because there's a certain amount of sugars that naturally occur when you have just flat skin surfaces. It's why a lot of people shave off all of their pubic hair. They don't want a bacterial infection. Let's not go there. We don't want everybody giving themselves a shave job just to use this gel on the top. It's just easier for women to understand. Gel works on the outside of the folds on bacteria and the inside on yeast, but bacteria or yeast could be in either place.
Got it. I'm good. I have a plethora of information in order to build this. Gordon, you are I don't know if I've ever met anybody like you.
Hey, and one more thing. Don't forget to start, because this tube might be 66 feet long from mouth to anus.
Yep.
Don't forget to start by drinking liquid silver, because your mouth contains
You see that?
1,000 different forms of bacteria.
That's bacteria and candida.
Stick your tongue out. That's yeast, buddy. You have
Yeah.
candida, and the folds in your tongue are being inundated with yeast, and the outer edges were bacterial, but the white color is yeast. And
Yeah, I just been oil pulling. I didn't do it today. When I oil pull, with coconut oil, it keeps it under check. But Doug sent me over some products, so I'm very much looking forward to trying it.
yeah, and you go right ahead and put the gel right on your tongue. It'll stay in place longer.
I already had that. And
But we've got brushing teeth with the gel. We've got putting it in your mouth. We've got liquid to rinse and gargle with. We've got sprays up the nostrils. This is all one system.
yeah, actually,
Let's start
I
with
put
the
a lot
gel.
of things in my neti pot. You ever use a neti pot?
Oh, love neti pots, but we at
Yep.
My Doctor Suggest have something a little bit better. Recognize this bottle?
No.
If I take this bottle and put it in a nostril and squeeze, it's going to pump out a stream of silver. See, it's filled up with, let me get it close. Can you see that bottle? My Doctor
Yeah.
Suggest. You can see the liquid in there?
Yeah.
That's silver, straight silver. I put it in my nose and I squeeze. It's going to pump out a big fluid stream about this big. So this is a pressurized neti pot. Put it in your nose, pump it in out the other side, and you're going to break up obstructions while leaving silver in the mucous membranes.
I love it. Sinus. I broke my nose 10 times. I used to get sinus infections all the time. I used the neti pot like crazy.
You're going to love this stuff. We need to get him one of these guys.
Beyond the dysbiosis of being on antibiotics for 3 years. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, that's why your tongue looks like it does.
But you should. I mean, 3 years ago, I couldn't function because of lupus. So
No.
I'm like, I'm gonna go to the gym after we're done here. So
Well, I salute you for all of the effort you've made to get the progress. Number one, you had to stop it. Number two, you had to stop the cause of it. Number three, you had to repopulate the proper biosis.
which is taking time.
And now it's starting to give benefit.
And it's also one of the, aside from the family I grew up in, just the fact that this is the life I live. I'm super passionate about. I mean, I cannot tell. I hustled this week to make sure that by the time we started this call, my plate was clear. This is my priority. I want to get so much, if not, even just like the main sales presentation. I want to get that done this week. There's so many things I want to get done quickly, and I have a passion for the gut, and your specificity in the specific niche conversation is it was brilliant. So thank you.
Hey, one more thing. Yes, you're welcome. And thank you. We're so lucky to have you. One more thing I just did today on one of my Facebook Live presentations today. I did it on an article that is talking about two things. There's one that talks about, let me see if I've got it right here for you, the different kinds of things in the gut that they're discovering that are brand new that will put us on the cutting edge ahead of everybody else. And the answer is gut bacteria may help explain why drugs don't work for everyone. So I reviewed this article today, and it talks about if you have bad bacteria in your gut, that 65% of all the drugs they tested that are in the presence of bad bacteria will become metabolized in a harmful way. You may not even get the benefit from the drug you take. You may get a toxic result, and I gave exact examples from this article. So that would put us one step ahead of anything anybody else is talking about as well. We've got the biofilms that are brand new. We've got the resistant the resistant bacteria that silver breaks through and helps normalize. Now we've also got normalize your gut flora, your gut bacteria. Otherwise, you may be taking a toxic drug because your body responds differently to everything that comes into it if you've got harmful bacteria.
Can I get a hold of that paper?
Yeah, I'll get it to you somehow, some way. I'll even take pictures of the paper. It's just like 5 pages, and you can see where I've yellowed it.
Yeah, Perfect. That would be
If
perfect.
nothing else, I'll take pictures of it and send it to you so
That-
you know what I like.
That's perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. All right. We're good, guys. Thank you so much.
Glad to help. I think Andre and I are on at 3:30, so thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much, Gordon. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Andre.
And these are great
Thanks,
fun. This is like turbocharging information, isn't it? It's like, holy cow, you're drinking right from the faucet right now, from the fire hydrant. Man, it's great. Thanks, buddy.
All right, I love you guys.
Make us look
Appreciate it.
good.
All right. Talk later.
Bye-bye.
Cool.
I'm leaving.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, so I'll get going on just some ideas. I start in the middle of the funnel on the money page and get going over the weekend.
Okay, awesome. I'm around. We're around if you need anything.
Yeah,
Yep.
anytime, man, just text. We're working almost 24/7 here.
Yeah, I'm in a back process, but I mean, he gave such a great download right there. Is there any, do you have transcribers or I have a transcriber? I want to get that transcribed because there's some stuff we can even just clean up verbatim and get extract quotes out of. That was some great stuff. Yeah.
I'm planning to use Rev right now because we, as you probably heard from the very beginning of this call, Gordon is going to do on a consistent basis weekly reviews of different news. And today one was like, you just go and it will blow your mind, to be honest with you. Like, I was listening, my wife came for the last 10 minutes and her jaw was like, he's so good in this. So
yeah, it's ridiculous.
For a VIP letter, so we're gonna have like these videos, and then we'll be transcribing them and writing newsletters out of all them.
Perfect. And
Probably the best VSL we can do here too, guys, is not doing like a regular produced VSL, but just even putting him on Zoom like we just did just now and recording it.
I've done that before and had tremendous results.
Yeah, I think that's
in an
what we should
interview
look at
format.
doing. Yeah, it's way quicker to turn around and produce it.
Yep, and we just need the right person to be asking the questions.
Exactly.
Do you have someone in mind?
I can do it. I've done lots of them with them.
Perfect.
So if you write me the questions on what you want to know the answer to, we'll do unscripted as far as what his responses are, because we already know that he can respond better than we can write.
Yep.
So if you just bulletproof off the things.
So this is almost going to be like on Zoom, like a webinar style then.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Perfect. Got it.
And then the nice thing
we're working
is
on talking points and getting the right questions.
Totally. The nice thing is it's very easy to reproduce and optimize because we can just film them over and over and over again.
Exactly.
Without having to do a whole bunch of editing.
I have like freaking goosebumps because this is how you get shit done in this business.
Yeah. So, no, we've got a good little match made in heaven here of what we're looking at.
Yeah, this is great. The speed that I'm on it, and the assets and access to things to him. This is just absurd.
Yeah. No, we can make stuff happen lightning fast on all this stuff.
Yep. And I've been following and seeing the ads and the emails and everything, just getting a sense of the company as it is right now.
Perfect.
Getting the voice. Yeah. Got in too.
Perfect.
All right, guys, this is awesome. I'll and that clarifies, that'll make the work over the weekend way more focused.
Yeah, totally. And then we can do the video production of this like on Zoom or like via video format.
Yeah.
Super
Zoom
fast.
is great. I've used Zoom many times, and I even use it for I use it for a bunch of things. It's great.
Perfect.
You need to do, because it's really important for any VSLs, the sound quality. We can do this in the studio as well.
Perfect. Sound quality makes a big difference, especially people know how to get the right tones that's really going to access people's psyches.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sweet, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and we're on it. I'm on it.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll chat with you soon.
And I'll when this renders, I'll put it in our Skype chat.
Okay, beautiful.
All right. Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.